No, it's all y'all.
This morning, we're not going to go into the weeds about these Chinese radios, but what I want you to know is that they do exist. Some of them are crap. I'm trying to be really nice, but some of them are very, very good, and we're going to go into some of that. And then I'm going to do a little bit about Meshtastic, and then I got one thing that I want to show you that I think you'll find quite interesting. But we'll do the Chinese radios first.
Can you use the microphone, please?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Chinese radios. They are what they are. There are some that are not good. This one is not good. It's a Quansheng TK11. I thought, it looks nice, but it has birdies on 2 meters, for crying out loud.
Oh no.
So I wouldn't buy this radio. The only reason I did is because I wanted to do hey, this is what's out there, stay away from this thing. Okay?
Are you saying that the antenna is better than the radio?
Yes.
How much did it cost? Roughly.
$79.
Oh, wow.
Now, the one thing that this one does do, how many of you remember the Quansheng UVK5 that I did? Yeah, put your hand up. This is the one where you actually had to put an extra board inside the radio. Do you remember that? Because I went over that, and you have to open the radio up and solder this new circuit board on top, and you have to unsolder some things and stuff like that. So most people that, how many of you solder well? Okay, you would do good with stuff like this, but a lot of people don't have it. A lot of people can't even spell solder. Okay, so it's makes modifying this radio to do HF receive is not for the faint of heart, and that's what this is. This one's a modified radio. As you can see, it has a BNC connector right here. It's actually an SMA, but I've converted all my SMA stuff to BNC because it's just a stronger antenna connector. So this one will receive on 10 meters all the way down to probably 40 meters. And it does okay. This one will do the same thing, and it does okay also, but as far as transmit, when you start telling people, hey, I've got these radios that I want to do HF on, Europeans, for them it's CB. They want to do CB and they want to transmit. Well, you're talking about a dual band 70 centimeter, 2 meter radio that's got a board in it that will go down on the HF frequencies, but it won't transmit very well on those. But they insist on wanting to do that. Stay away from the Quansheng TK11 if you want your sanity. Now, let's go to another one. Radtel. This is a Radtel RT860 Golf. Golf G standing for GPS. This is a very good radio. Now, it's none of these radios that are designed with HF receive in mind are going to work on transmit on HF. It's just not going to happen, folks. At least not for, you know, $79 or $89, whatever you pay for these. This is a good radio. It has, matter of fact, Dave did a, hang on. He asked me to do my radios on a receive test. So we both used our little tiny SA analyzers, spectrum analyzers, and we put a 40 dB attenuator in there. Can y'all still hear me? Put a 40 dB attenuator on it and tested the receive on these radios. These, before I get started in my tirade, those two radios right here are probably some of the best radios if you want a Chinese radio that'll do what they advertise it'll do. I tested my, this is a VRN76. The unique thing about this radio is it has KISS protocol built into it. How many of you know what the KISS protocol is? Let's see. You need to put your room down. That's right. But what does it do?
Easy to program.
No. Don't you like that I'm straight to the point? It's a protocol that allows you to send and receive X.25 protocol stuff to talk to a TNC in a radio. For instance, the ICOM ID, now the Kenwood D75 today has a KISS protocol with a TNC built into the radio. This one doesn't have that. I mean, it's all software based. But the Kenwood D75 is what, $750? This is about $122. And if they ever fix, and there are, one of these days they will do that. I've had this radio now for what, a year I guess, maybe less. And they have done so many upgrades to this radio. The KISS protocol is in this radio. This radio does APRS. And if you connect this radio, Bluetooth, to an application either on your iPhone or on your iPad or on your Android device, i.e. APRS Droid, it will track wherever you go from here through this radio. $122. If they ever do that, I'll almost guarantee you that Kenwood will not sell too many more D75s at $750, because this will do everything Kenwood will, except for, you know, or the ICOM. Obviously, it's not going to do D-Star because it's not built for that. But then there.
Is that HF as well on that one?
Yes,
What modes does it receive?
it's all mode.
CWS, single sideband, all that.
This is my newest.
Joy.
I may have to put a second mortgage on the house so I can afford the new HTs that I've been buying, but this radio is the cat's meow, or it will be. To begin with, it's a dual bander, but you can see it has three, and I'll pass this around. It has three separate screens on it, and there's three buttons on this one side. So the top portion, the top button will key that up. The middle button will key the middle portion up, and the bottom button will key the bottom portion up. So you can have three different frequencies on here, and just by which button you press will key that up.
That's unreal.
Flickering green style
Now,
What's the model number on that one?
that is the Radtel Romeo Tango 880 Golf. Now, I'll go back.
Is it full duplex?
Yes, it is.
Oh.
Now, well, it's not in that sense. You can key up and do cross banding, but that's about as far as it's going to go. So no, you're not going to work duplex satellites. I'm going to go back to this chip again, or this circuit board. It's pretty tiny, where you had to modify this radio yourself. You don't have to do that with any of the other radios because they already have this built into it. So now you don't have to learn how to solder, you don't have to take the radio apart, you don't have to do any of that stuff. They're already done that way. So that makes it a little nicer. So let's talk about receive. Dave called me up the other day and said, you know, I don't think my VRN76 hears very well. And so he put his on his VNA and tested it. And on VHF, it had a neg 136 dB. How many of you think that's good? That is good. The red radio there had a neg 135. But I tested the radio that's passed around, and it had a neg 138. So it hears very well. And it hears very well not only on VHF, but it had a neg 136 on UHF.
So it is a 2 meter 440 rig?
It is. But it will also do 222. And you say, well, 222, okay. It only puts out like less than a watt on 222. But the 222 repeater that I use is up on top of the Sandridge building, owned by W5GDL, Stephen Hazelwood. So I can hit it and I can talk on it. So that repeater hears very well, and the radio does well on that. But so does my VRN76. It does the same thing. Those two radios are the best two Chinese radios that I've owned. And there are guys, I haven't done it yet, but there are guys who have tested the radio on transmit. And on 2 meters and 440, it's very clean. Both radios. But if you're going to want to do HF transmit, please do not do it on those radios, because you're not going to be happy with it. And there's a lot of people that if you're close to them, they're not going to be happy either, because you're going to send little birdies all over the place. So don't do that. But on HF, it works. Receive very well. Now that radio also has a second antenna, in the very middle of it, and it comes that way. You don't have to add it on there, but it comes that way.
How many watts will it put out for 2 meter and 440?
It'll put out 5 watts.
Okay.
I think it put out a little bit more on UHF, both of these radios. I don't remember that.
You're talking about the N76?
Yeah.
It's about a little over 5 watts.
Yeah, a little over 5 watts. So it's not like, you know, you can see these advertised, it puts out 10 watts. It ain't nowhere near close to 10 watts. But this is a very good radio. It's a very solid radio. This radio, I can turn this radio on, drop it into a pitcher of water, key up another radio, and it will key this up and never hurt it. You can take it out of the water, dry it off, and it's good as new. It's IP67 rated.
So what's that one?
This one is the VR. It's the VGC, Victor Golf Charlie, Victor Romeo dash November 7-6.
$156 on
A
Amazon.
lot of these radios have two nomenclatures. That same radio is also known as VTech 350, I think.
And the Radioddity has an identical radio
Well, they
too,
stopped
but
making
they
theirs.
stopped selling the Radioddity
Right.
because it had a lot of issues.
And like the other one he had, the 880G, that one has a second nomenclature by INRAD. I don't remember the number.
Yes, I don't either. TID radio. Yes.
Yeah.
I wanna make a I was just looking on Amazon and I did the 880 and it came up for one for like $78, but I got researching, it's not the G model. So-
Right, yeah, the G model is more
The G
expensive.
model
And if
is-
you're gonna buy one, buy the G model because it's got GPS.
They've got the G model on Amazon too, but it's 94.
Yeah.
I know you mentioned, many of the HPs now have HFC. Anybody making one with HFC?
No.
Yeah, it's an ICOM 705.
Yeah. 705 with a new Yaesu FTX
Or a
one.
706.
But no, they do
703.
not. And there's not enough room in any of these, and not enough memory to do any of that either. So I don't expect to ever see that, at least not in my lifetime.
There's one other thing to note. These are really pretty good radios, as Wayne said, and they're also from one of the more professional telecommunications companies in China. But for a couple of years now, and it's published in QST, a review for the N7500, which is a mobile that you can operate from your phone or iPad or tablet, stuff it under your seat or in the back of your.
And now the new VRN 7600 is out.
N7600 that came out a week or so ago that has even more features and is much better. So I'll just pass this around. This is mine doing APRS right now. And just to give you some idea, you'll see it changing signals pretty frequently. And even in here, it works perfectly with APRS. Not without the KISS interface. You gonna owe me the rest?
Or does he need to beat it out of you?
I'll
So,
pay money to see that.
yeah, did you hear what he said? I'd pay money to see that.
I'll pay $5 more.
So, Chinese radios. I will tell you, stay away from Quanshang TK11. You will not be happy with it.
What model was it that a bunch of us bought a year or so back that had to read the frequency? What was a Quanshang?
The UBK5,
Yeah.
K5, K6. Yeah, that's what this is. Now this one's modified.
Yeah, that's the one I have is modified too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, this one's modified. But now, with the new radios, with the exception of that one, all of the new radios, all the Chinese radios, have this chip already installed inside it. And they have since gotten a lot better as far as reception. Not this radio, that radio is.
Tariff impact current and expected.
So again,
Tariff impact current and expected.
you know, I don't really know because every radio that you see up here and then those that are being passed around, I bought before all that crap hit.
Sure.
So I don't know what it is today.
There is actually an exemption for radio gear and telecommunications gear in the tariffs plan. Yes. Stuff I ordered for directly from China, well, since he became president, came in a marked box that said amateur radio on the side, and it was no tariffs.
So there's your answer.
Now, that may have changed because he did a bunch of stuff over the last 2 weeks. But at the first of the year, after he was president, no tariffs.
Okay. My radio's been passed around.
Amateur radio.
Now, the HF receive,
Louder, please.
the HF receive portion of this, you just put a antenna on it, and then by holding down this 0, it says starting radio. That's the way the Chinese put it. If it was me, I would say starting HF receive. So now, this is on CD channel 27185, and the only reason it's there is so that I could test the receive portion of this.
Now, how do you switch between one frequency and another?
You just type it in via the keypad,
Okay,
or you can put it in memory and then choose from a memory.
okay.
This receives very well. I mean, it really does. I'll put it this way. I have an application on not only my iPad, but my iPhone that I can do, if I tune that to, let's say, 14.074, which is the 20 meter FT8 frequency, and I set that in front of that radio and I tune it to 14.074, I can decode FT8 receive right there. Works very well. Now in here, not going to work that well, I don't think. But this radio and this one
Wow.
will do it
It's a nice
somewhat.
radio.
But this radio, which is the 880G with GPS, hears very well. And I have used this radio as it sits right here, stepped outside in my yard, tuned it to 20 meter FT8 frequency, and decoded that with my iPhone. Now I won't transmit, but I decode it. So, it does it very well.
Well, and other than experiments like that, what's the practical application of a handheld receive on the HF?
Go ahead.
Well, like he said, you can copy just about anything, but of course it's limited to receive on. But as far as the kind of stuff you do, that VRN76 that he talked about is the only one of those radios that has APRS natively built in it. And with the KISS interface, you can use your cell phone, for instance, and you can send Winley and receive Winley emails. Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's something that we have done also. So it's not a pipe dream. I mean, it works.
Yeah.
But like I said, the newer Chinese radios are built very well. They're built like tanks. I mean, you can feel that radio that Lucian's got right there, and it's heavy. It's IP67 waterproof, so it works very well.
Are any of the cases that feel good like this, with your knowledge of so much of the market of handhelds, is this a copied knockoff of some good case that some other manufacturer has?
I don't think so, no.
No, other than for having similar features to what the Icon or the Kenwood D75 has, aside from D-Star capability.
It's custom designed by them.
We've talked about this at length, he and I. And if that radio that you just touched ever gets the KISS protocol and the APRS stuff, right now the APRS stuff is not
It's pretty much there.
It's not-
Probably for what you'd want to do, I'd say it's totally functional.
it's not 100% standards wise. Okay?
What
If
they-
it ever gets that way, Kenwood will not sell any more of their radios.
They've been incrementally adding stuff to the software. One of them, for instance, recently was what's called smart beaconing. So the radio will sit there and it won't transmit your position until you either change speed significantly or you maybe make a 90-degree turn. Then it'll bark out there and say, hey, I'm here now. And that preserves battery and also keeps down the clutter of HF, the bandwidth.
And we used
VHF.
No, VHF or UHF.
Okay.
we drove out to Albuquerque last year. I took my VRN-76 with me and we put it in the dashboard of the truck. God rest its soul. For those of you who don't know, we had a tornado come through my neighborhood on the 3rd of November last year. And it did $27,000 worth of damage to my pickup truck. So I no longer drive my pickup truck. So, in the story. But, like I said, if that radio ever does, and there's a gentleman, his name is Mike, what's his name? Last name, Dave?
Can't remember.
Anyway, he's been a proponent of that radio for a long time. And he communicates directly with the Chinese company that makes the radio. And her name is Kathy Zhang. And he will call her and say, look, you guys aren't doing the protocol correctly. You got to do this, you got to do that. Because right now, it doesn't message very well. And if they ever get that right, that radio, they'll sell 3 times as many radios as they've sold now. Yes,
Where did you buy that?
No, but I think it is available on Amazon now. But I bought it from AliExpress.
That's right. That's the
Yes.
place I'm finding it, $177.81.
And if you continue to look around or you wait a week, it'll be cheaper. So that's with AliExpress. But it's a very good radio, and I carry mine. Dave carries his. So it works very well. So if you're looking for a good radio that has good quality, it hears well.
Clean transmit?
However,
It is.
The same radio is on Amazon, but it's the BTEC version for $164.89.
Now the difference between the BTEC and that one is the BTEC is an American company that are in cahoots with the Chinese. So
Cell phone specifically.
yes. So
eBay has the VRN-76s for $153.
So that's what you're going to find. You're going to find anywhere from 150 to, well, I've seen them as cheap as 144. So 144 to 180, 190 bucks. I paid 190 for mine, but that's well over a year ago. Yes, sir.
Is Anytone in competition with any of these?
No. No, Anytone's pretty much sticks to DMR.
Does RT have programming for them?
Yes. And the good thing about it is, well, I say the good thing, both the VRN-76 and this one have USB-C charging.
Oh.
You plug the USB-C directly into the back of the battery on this one, and on this one, it's over on the side here. But that's the same way you program them too. At least the 880G. This one has a 2-prong Kenwood style connector on it.
So what's the process for not a Dave and Duane simple process, but for somebody new at it, getting those uploads, those new releases of firmware in there? How's that work? And don't say very well.
It couldn't be a whole lot simpler.
Really?
You turn the radio on.
Uh-huh.
You and I would say try to use an Android tablet or Android phone, and then you link via Bluetooth to the radio, so no physical connection. And with that, then you go to the this is called an HT app that they publish. Go to the HT app, and from that you can do a lot of things. One of them is it gives you a map and shows all the other stations around you, and it gives a table that has a list of frequencies. And by the way, there are banks to this, so you can program this to different banks. Like I have one for ham stuff, and then I have another one for EM and things of that nature. But you got one of these is settings, and you go to settings, and there's a table of all the different parameters that are in the radio. One of them is the code version you're on. So all you do is click on the code version, and you go over, and if there's a brand new one that's published and it's not beta, it'll show up as being available for you, and you click on it, and it whizzes and bangs bits and ones back and forth, and eventually it says, okay, upload complete. You want to load it in the radio? Puts it in the radio, reboots the radio, puts you right back where you were, and now you're running on the new software. So from that HT application, which by the way is available for iPhones and iPads, but it doesn't offer the same functionality that the Android version does. So programming the radio with picking banks, naming banks, putting memories in there, naming them, all that's done from there. Software updates done from there, and you also can do APRS and see all the signals around the metro or near you. And so it's very, very, very powerful.
Okay.
But the neat thing is there's no muss and no fuss with cables and baud rates
And it's the same way with the RadTel. RadTel does the same thing. Any more questions on Chinese radios?
By the way, you can speak English.
All right, I've got a couple of more things that aren't Chinese radio related that I want to show you guys. How many of you know what Meshtastic is? Okay, Meshtastic is growing in popularity in Oklahoma City. I'm going to have to stop buying those things. How many of you remember the M5 stack that we gave away when we gave the IC705 packages away? This is an M5 stack. It's a little bitty computer. They have just recently, in the last year, came out with a LoRa, which is long range. I forget what it is. But anyway, it has a LoRa chip in here, and it's this middle piece right here where the antenna's connected. This is Meshtastic now. It's no longer an M5 stack, it's doing Meshtastic. And it's just, that's all it is. Then, there are no shortage of Meshtastic radios out there. There's probably 20 different models of Meshtastic radio. This is one of the more popular ones because it has a screen on it and a little keyboard that my big fingers find it hard to press those little. But anyway, you can text using this box. The other ones, you have to be on an application to do so. But this will, but you can do canned messages. If you have messages, you can type those in and send a canned message if you want. But this will actually let you type a message in there to anybody that you can see from your radio. So for instance, I just got a new message from that McCurry. Anyway, so you can get these messages on there, and then if you want to type a message back to this guy, you just press that and you type your message and hit send, and it will send it. Now the problem right now with Meshtastic is it doesn't. The new code that I've put on all of mine, Dave has on all of his, supposedly fixed the problem of message sending. So for instance, let's take these three guys up front, and they're all Meshtastic nodes. And I am at my house and I can see all of them. So I want to send a message to, let's say, Ron up here up front. I'm not going to be guaranteed that I send that message to Ron and he gets it or that he is the first one to acknowledge it. But say Bill is the one who acknowledges it, and Bill has, he's not a client. Say he's client mute. They do not send or repeat any of the messages, so it stops with him. He never gets it, and that's been the problem. Supposedly with the new 2.6.11 firmware, they fixed that, but I'm not finding that as to be true just yet. So I got to do a little more research. But if they ever fix it to where they can do messaging, and for instance, I want to send a message to Coy Day, I should be able to pull up his call sign, send him a direct message, and it should go directly to him. But today it doesn't do that. So I'm not guaranteed that he's ever going to get that, ever.
When you say directly to him, you mean through the mesh?
Yes.
But targeted for him?
Yes.
Not just stopping along
Right.
the way somewhere because of that software problem.
What frequency is that on?
This is on 915 megahertz. So it has a good range with it.
Is there a repeater for that?
Yes, there are repeaters,
Okay.
and it works well. If I go out and I send a message to the entire group of people, and it's like, "Good morning, everybody," then a lot of them will get that message because the repeater will repeat, and there are currently there are 3 repeaters in Oklahoma City proper.
Oh.
So yes, it works well. It's just the messaging right now until they get it to where I can send a message to Coy and I can pretty much predict the fact that he will get it. But right now I can't tell you that. So
But you still have to have a ham license to use that?
no.
No? Excellent.
It's in the free frequency area. It's in the FCC controls it, but they don't regulate it the way they do with the ham bands.
For instance, even though a lot of my nodes, I think every one of my nodes has my call sign that says, okay, this is AA5KD T-Deck, which is what this is called. But everything that leaves here is encrypted. But I'm not sending any amateur radio stuff to any other amateur radio guy. Because there are a lot of people out there who don't own a license that are using Meshtastic. But there is a programming feature in here that if you decide you want to use your call sign, which what it really offers you is, if you wanted to do, right now these things only put out, 100 milliwatts maybe?
Not even that.
Not even that. If you want to bump it up to, let's say, 5 watts, you can do that as an amateur radio operator. But it automatically, as soon as you do that, it automatically turns encryption off, so that you never will send an encrypted thing as an amateur radio operator. So, the guy that came up with this is an amateur radio operator.
So every year at your Hamvention, the YouTubers seem to be crazy about Meshtastic. I haven't heard any, and I haven't drilled into everything I could find about that in that environment up there, which they say is really crowded. But I hadn't heard that business about you may not get to somebody because it runs into a dead-end street.
I can send a message to him, and I send a direct message to Dave. And he has yet to ever get that direct message because somebody else acknowledged it.
If you're asking about what happened up at Dayton 2 years ago.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I just know there's a lot of chatter about.
Well, that's what caused that.
Oh.
That's what caused the chatter. And so the developers and their hams were at Dayton and discovered that there was, the protocol could be improved. So they went back to the drawing board, did some reprogramming, released it. And now in high density applications like Dayton, other than Friedrichshafen, there's probably no more dense RF environment than that. and that helped fix things. It's not perfect, but much, much better. But what he's saying is, unlike TCP/IP email, there is no delivery assured method.
Fire and forget.
Hmm?
Fire and forget.
Well, fire and maybe get lucky.
Yeah.
So, but Meshtastic is growing in popularity in Oklahoma City. There are a lot of nodes out there right now. So, and you do not have to be a ham to do that. But if you decide you're going to want more power and you turn that little thing on that says I'm a ham radio operator, it immediately turns the encryption off so that you will never send an encrypted
Well, if
message.
everybody gets it, unencrypts it, what's good is encryption.
Because with encryption, you target a specific station. So you and he, as way of the encryption protocols, will exchange keys and use the PKI.
And
So-
nobody else is going to be able to encrypt it.
Exactly. Nobody else can read it.
Or do
So
you?
it'll be encrypted just between your two stations and all along the path of delivery.
It's kind of like a VPN, kind of like a virtual private network
Okay.
if you're used to it on the internet, except on a VPN, it's a secure pipe between you and the receiving computer.
Alright.
With this, it actually decodes the encryption on the other end.
Okay, take me back to the ham machine, not ham machine, the device that created the dead end and didn't pass it on. It unencrypted it?
No, it
just
can't because it won't have the
dead-ended.
key.
It
So
looks at the headers of the packet and makes a decision on what to do with it. But the header isn't encrypted, but the payload
Okay,
is.
okay, and so, based on the header, it did its thing and just stopped it.
Well,
and
what
didn't
happened?
pass it on.
What happens is under the old protocol, I haven't read enough about the new protocol to know what the difference is, but randomly there will be 3 people that will receive my packet going to Dave. Randomly, any one of those 3 up front could acknowledge it, but unless they have specifically programmed theirs to pass a message on,
Oh.
Dave will never get it.
Okay.
It stops with him or
So
him
it's
or
like,
him.
it's like if I ask you to tell Tom something
Yeah.
and you forget to tell him, it's exactly what happens.
Okay, Lucian, but I'm following you, but that person who dead-ended it couldn't read it because it wasn't
Did they
encrypted.
manually acknowledge it, or did the radio acknowledge it and it stopped?
The protocol in the radio
Did it?
for somebody out there that heard that packet said, "Oh, I heard that," and that's
Okay.
as far as it goes.
It wasn't the operator.
No.
Okay,
It's all done.
thank you.
This is all programming.
I will tell you this. The new software, when I sent a message to Dave, the software said somebody else acknowledged it, but it doesn't tell you who did it.
Okay.
More than likely it was somebody who had, for instance, there are about 8 or 9 different modes that you can use here. One of them is client mode. Client will send and receive and relay all messages it hears. But if somebody's got client mute, it will not do that. If somebody, which I hopefully nobody is going to be a router, because routers should be up in high places. There's a thing called a tracker, and it doesn't do anything but send its GPS location out at whatever time frame you have told it to do that. It doesn't care about messaging, even though it will receive a message directly to it, but it will not relay a message that goes through it. It will not do that. So, and that's what's going on here. There's no way that we know of that I can target Coy and be assured that Coy is going to get it through whoever relays it. For instance, let's say these 3 guys here have their client mute, so they are not going to relay any messages they get. But let's say you have yours on and you're a client and you say, oh, he wants to send this to Coy Day, so you're going to resend it to him. We're not sure how that works just yet today.
Resend it to him in a mesh environment means send it to him by whatever the mesh decides is a way to get there successfully. Yes
Yeah.
or no?
There's not much, unlike a TCP or an IP network, there are not a lot of routing decisions made. It's all predicated on being in a notion of cells, all to get like your cell phone works, where the A and B may talk to each other, and B and C may talk to each other, but A and C can't talk. The idea of relaying is just recently with the newer code added, and in that it allows you to provide, but I haven't found out where, allows to provide a next hop destination.
And,
So if
and
you
to
know
me,
that
that's
somebody
what a
right
mesh
near
network was.
So it's
But
an
unlike all
improvement.
the other mesh networks, Meshtastic floods the entire network. It sends it out to everybody and his brother, but randomly there are 3 guys that are going to pick that
Okay.
up. Now it's totally random. I mean, it could be these 3. It could be you and
Yeah, I get it.
Arnie or me, and that's the way it's going to go. Problem is that everybody knows right now that a client mute will participate in the network, and he will answer messages to him, but he will not relay a message that's not for him. So, if hypothetical, I send out I want to send a message to Dave. I'm going to flood the network with that message, and randomly there are 3 people that are going to get that. If all 3 of those people are client mute, it's going to drop dead right there, and nobody else is going to get it. But let's say out of those 3 random people, 1 guy is a client. He's going to take that. He's going to have the header that says, "Oh, this is destined for Dave," so I'm going to send that out, and I'm going to reflood the network. Hopefully, it gets to Dave, but I'm not guaranteed of that either, because there's no way to directly send a message to Dave to make sure that he gets it.
And unlike some mesh, there's not intelligence that figures out
No,
what the route is best for the hops that are active right then.
not unless the new firmware that we put on
Okay.
there is something that we haven't delved into yet,
Clearly,
figured
that's
it out.
good.
So, but the old firmware, the 2.5.15, does not do that. Okay, any more questions about Meshtastic? I have one more thing to show you. About last year sometime, I bought a device that would allow me to connect to a program on my iPad called SDR Control. I wanted to control my IC705 sitting at the house from a distant location. And so I found this program, SDR Control, that uses a product that this gentleman, Lynovation is the company, and he came out with a product called a mini MIDI. And then he came out with this new product, and it's called a CTR2 dial. And I'll pass this around. But what this allows me to do is I use my laptop or my iPad, and I connect remotely through the internet to my IC705 at the house via IP address. When it shows connected, then I then go in here and tell it I want to connect Bluetooth to this device. Now, this device does not have to be directly connected to the radio or to the iPad that I'm using to control it, but it connects Bluetooth to the iPad, and all the controls here affect the program, because the program is the one that's connected to the 705. So, and I'll pass this around. You can see that if you turn this dial, all of the functions that I can do, and I think there's 42 functions that I can do to change the, yes sir?
No, keep going. When your sentence is done.
That I can send to the program, and the program will send it to the IC705. So for instance, this I can change upper, lower, sideband, CW, whatever. I can turn the noise blanker on and off. I can turn the noise reduction on and off. I can do, it has a key jack here. I can send CW. All through this little device that connects here, that's connected via IP to my IC705 at the house through the network.
Can you talk and hear?
I can hear, yes, but there is a PTT version of this, and you can key up your microphone.
Oh, that's for CW.
This one's for CW. So, cost with shipping, $100. And like I said, all I have is a battery to power it, but it's connected Bluetooth to the iPad, and the iPad's connected IP to my radio at the house. And I can operate, and I've done this. I went out to Lake Draper and sat in the truck and connected, not this version, but the older version, and I was able to do FT8 from my truck. I made probably 5 or 6 QSOs FT8 through my 705 out an antenna using this device to do that. I'll pass this around. You can look at it.
It's like your remote DX, isn't it?
But
Radio in a box, DX, same difference?
it's close.
He's either there or he ain't.
Well, in this case, he ain't. But it's Bluetooth, device Bluetooth to iPad Bluetooth, iPad to a network connection to get on the internet, goes out to his 705 on the other end of his internet connection,
Sure.
and then it transmits or receives there. This comes into the same thing Coy talked about, or we talked about with Coy one time. What is your QTH count as? Is your QTH Draper Lake, or,
Sorry.
you know,
It's my house.
okay, because that's where the permanent radio is located.
He's okay.
Yeah, so it wasn't a photo activation.
No, it is not.
Yeah.
Any questions?
So this is actually an upgraded version of what the MFJ 1234 was giving you. Because the MFJ 1234 was complete remote rig control.
Yeah.
This just makes it better because you don't have to have the MFJ, and you can talk Bluetooth to anything else
Yes.
that talks Bluetooth and can run that app. So,
Yeah. And it was, this guy designed this based upon that SDR control app, because SDR control is an application for icons.
What was the company name again?
Lynovation,
Lynovation?
Lynovation. And for the life of me, I don't know what his call sign is. K7 something. K7UQ maybe. But Lynovation, his name is Lynn, first name is Lynn, so that's where the Lynovation came from. But it's a pretty slick little deal. That's all I got.
Thank you.